Hello and welcome to the second build regarding knights. This build is going to be more specific for Balrog, so let's start off showing off the builds. Obviously we're going to go with damage, once again health in case you need that extra health to survive. If you're good at timing in your blocks, you shouldn't be needing any health, so any extra damage is always helpful to take down Balrog faster. Now, you've seen a lot of skills being gone now on the left side, and it's also something a bit different from my previous videos where I covered up how I used or what kind of skill build I used for my knights when I did my first run. I got some advice from main knight. His name is QQ, so I'm gonna try my best to fully understand what he meant and make a mixture of what I think how my build will be looking like when I do Balrog. So nothing on crosscut, nothing very special about it. Tornado Slash is just there for requirements for Typhoon Slash, and Typhoon Slash is our main skill for DPS. Now the other thing is we have Iron Shield now. So Iron Shield is gonna be maxed out, and it's to reduce the amount of damage you take from Balrog. He will hit you twice if you're really close to him, and the third hit won't hit you at all because it's a distance attack, which is far away from where he's standing. If you're inside his hitbox, then yeah. But the first two attacks is close to him. He swings like a vertical cleave or horizontal cleaves that will hit you for around 900 to 1k if you're not blocking, and if you're blocking you take only 200 damage. So having 3.1k health, blocking and timing in, you'll only receive 400 damage in total, which is fine. You can regen that back up with herbs or having a healer heal you. I'm gonna go a little bit later on with the middle part. On the right side we have the same thing. It's the requirement for party in majority of the raids and dungeons. 4 for the prerequisite, 3 for the prerequisite for the remaining 2 skills, which gives you a shield that is really necessarily that you max out on both. 6 is max for defender because we don't have level 52. Same thing with the bulwark, you have to have level 9 for the level 50. Now the skill here has cooldown of it depends. The first one has 55, the other one has 80 because of the skill level difference. They both start off with 130 seconds at level 1. Don't bother looking at the amount of allies you're protecting or whatever. You want to think about the cooldown. And for endgame raid, obviously you want to have more people being protected. So obviously you want to have them maxed out so you can protect more people. And that is all about taking the raid for 10 man. But yeah, having these two maxed out on cooldown, you'll eventually be able to rotate between these two at the last phase of Balrog. So you start off with Bulwark and then you start off with Defender of Fate, or vice versa. I feel like Bulwark, starting off with Bulwark first is much easier because it's lower cooldown. So once you use your when you use your Defender of Fate for the second time for the shout, your Bulwark should be up again. And you just have to communicate, and hopefully your teammates will end up in your shield. Now for the middle part, we needed 4 on both of these skills to unlock the shield toss. Shield toss is more of the debuff ability that you can use anytime as long as you have 16 spirit. You toss this every 12 seconds so they get debuffed, so your DPS can deal more damage on Balrog. This will speed up the fight, and since you're only there to block majority of the time and DPS now and then with the Typhoon Slash, that's all you have to do. As for Mastery, you want to have at least 1 point on it, and whenever you have a chance of perfect block or perfect guard, it's only on 5%, but once you put a point on it, you unlock the proc for it. And with that, it will increase your damage by yourself. And every time you're blocking an attack, you have a 40% chance of increasing your damage yourself for 3%. So it really depends. You can always swap it out if you don't want to have any
If someone needs help,
shield toss. You can always put one shield toss otherwise, and then put the rest on the shield mastery. So with this type of build, then you're more relying on yourself blocking majority of the attacks, and you'll get the damage boost for yourself to spin. So it's like more of a counter attack mechanic if you prefer that. If you don't like shield toss, yeah, then you can obviously just remove the shield toss. But if you want to increase the damage in total for your raid, I would recommend going 7 and 1, or whatever the skill points that you have remaining. Always have 1 on shield mastery and then the rest on shield toss, so you can increase the total damage for your raid or for your group. Now, that's all I have for this build. I could recommend going left side, otherwise you will sacrifice a lot of, for example, these shield mastery, and for the shield toss you will sacrifice it. For example, you could also go into a little bit more of Divine Strike, and I believe you could also get the, let's see, you could always do this method as I shown. So you need 6 Divine Strike. This is my old build, of course, so you have 6 Divine Strike, Drill Thrust available. So with Drill Thrust you have a 3rd charge attack. As I mentioned before, it doesn't cost any stamina. You drill to chase the Balrog because he charges a lot, and this will help you to catch up with the boss. But you do not get any raid, or your party does not gain any extra DPS. So this is more of learning the phase chasing and such, but I still recommend the way QQ told me on the previous video, is to go more supportive for your team so they can deal more DPS for your raid. And it's not really a big difference. The only thing that you don't have is Divine Strike and Drill Thrust, which is literally 1 extra attack and then 1 extra charge. So having increased damage for your party and for yourself with the Shield Mastery proc and the Shield Toss, you will deal a lot more damage with your Typhoon Slash, and obviously you're gonna have more damage for your raid or for your party. So this is the recommendation from me, my build. I guess it's not really my build, but yeah, huge credit to QQ for sharing the build. But I guess you could say it's one of my favorite build for Knight, for Balrog specifically. So thank you very much for watching. Just remember, you can always go back in the video seeing my changes on the builds, but this is the finalized build that I prefer for Balrog. But yeah, I'm gonna go off. I'll see you guys in the next video.